Station, WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Lung health is one of Taylorville Memorial Hospital's top health priorities this year. And Director of Community Health, Darren Butts, along with Director of Ancillary Services, Laura Polly, are here to talk about it. Thank you both so much for coming on to talk about a very important topic in the community.
Thanks for having us. Good to be back, Avery.
And it's great to have you here too, Laura.
Thank you.
So, Darren, tell me about why Taylorville Memorial Hospital's top health priority is lung health.
Mm-hmm. Back in 2021, we did a community health needs assessment. And as a result of that community health needs assessment, lung health was identified as the top priority here in Taylorville and Christian County. High incidence of lung cancer and high incidence of general populations and youth smoking.
Do we know? Oh, well, you said it right there. But other than youth smoking, do we know why it's such a high priority outside of, I want to get into kind of some of the youth part, but for the other population, do we know why at this point? Maybe this is a good question for Laura.
Actually, just having the high incidence of smoking is enough for your cancer rate in the county to be high overall, not just with lung cancer, but with all types of cancer.
So we don't know exactly why, but we can infer that smoking is pretty high in the area. A lot of people smoke, and therefore cancer rates are higher.
Correct.
Okay. We don't know, but we can infer.
We have data that you can
do.
go. I mean, Google has it all. So you can go look at your county smoking rate and see that we do have a much higher incidence of smoking in our county than other counties in the state of Illinois.
I didn't want to assume that we knew, but then I assumed we didn't know. So anyway, Laura, what is our smoking rate here in Christian County? Do you have it off the top of your head?
No, I do not.
No worries. What is about an average? Do you have that by any chance? No, that's okay too. Well, one of the things that Taylorville Memorial Hospital has done to help out with this community need, the Catch My Breath program. Tell me a little bit about what that is and what it did and the impact it made, Darren.
Sure. Kind of how it started was TMH was approached by the principal at Taylorville Junior High School, Mr. Eric Bruder, and he presented that they had a pretty significant vaping problem at the school. So we put our heads together and we came up with an appropriate program that was it's called Catch My Breath, which is an evidence-based youth vaping prevention program.
And I understand that that's a pretty successful program too, Darren.
Sure. We put about 500 of the Taylorville Junior High School students through the program. It's 4 one-hour sessions. Mr. Brian Brown and Mrs. Catherine Frasero were the two teachers that kind of helped lead that program with the junior high students. And it went over really, really well. After the program was finished, we had a very, very high success rate of 92% of the students in the classes felt like they would have a decreased decreased desire to vape or smoke as a result of the program.
Who were some of the students in these classes? I mean, is it all 500? Students?
It was all 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Taylorville Junior High.
Okay, so which equated to over about 500.
Correct. Yeah.
And Taylorville Memorial Hospital received an award for this for an over 90% success rate.
Sure. Yeah, we were in the beginning of this month, beginning of November, we were awarded ICANN, which is Illinois Critical Access Hospital Network, which is a statewide organization of all the critical access hospitals in Illinois. We were awarded their first Community Health Project Award. That award was given to a critical access hospital that partnered with a community organization to put on a program that had a big impact in their community.
Going back to May when you guys hosted the program, could you, or rather Taylorville Memorial Hospital even, I mean, goodness, an award. That's so huge. What does that mean to you? I mean, did you kind of think that this would be something that could receive that kind of recognition, or
no? It definitely wasn't the intent of us putting on the program.
Yeah.
The intent was to try to dial in on the lung health priority. And after that, really kind of how things snowballed is once we finished the program, we had some students in the classes come forward and tell us that they were addicted to vaping and smoking. And that prompted me to kind of reach out to my colleague here, Laura, and say, hey, we need some help. So both of us became certified in a American Lung Association program called Not on Tobacco. And this is a program where we teach kids to actually stop vaping. Whereas the Catch My Breath was a vaping prevention program. This is for them to stop vaping and smoking. So then we put that program on as well, which we had several of the students go through. They came forward and said, hey, we need help. And then that's what we did there at the junior high as well. So lots of things snowballed from that. Then we even partnered it with a community health grant from our Taylorville Memorial Foundation to put vaping sensors in the junior high and all the locker rooms and restrooms. So lots of work went into this program. So that's why kind of all this happened. And that's probably why we were awarded the Community Health Award.
Now, I don't want to assume that you've seen these sensors or necessarily, I guess I shouldn't assume. But I want to know how they work, I guess.
Yeah, we have seen the sensors. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They are located in every restroom and locker room in Taylorville Junior High. And once the vaping sensor is triggered, Mr. Bruder or Mrs. Jennifer Wise, who's the assistant principal there, get a notification on their phone, and they can go and deal with the situation that is happening in that area.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Before we dive into this a little bit further, Laura, tell me what you do as Director of Ancillary Services.
Actually, my main focus right now is as a registered respiratory therapist, I deal with primarily lung disease and the diagnosis of lung disease and treating of lung disease through the patients that come to Taylorville Memorial.
So right up the alley of what we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. What are some of the dangers of vaping?
Well, whenever you take on that vape, you're not only getting nicotine, even the vapes that actually have on the package, there's no nicotine in there. There is nicotine in there. There's no regulatory process with vapes and how they're manufactured. They have several carcinogens in them, the flavorings, that type of thing. And actually the flavorings is really what entices that teenage population to begin vaping. The other thing is once they start vaping, then they start looking at other things, cigarettes on down the road, other things. And actually, most of the teenagers that we encountered were doing that for their anxiety. They said they had a lot of anxiety. So we have some teenagers here that have a lot of anxiety and they're using something that is not healthy for them to treat their anxiety. So that was one of the hurdles we had to do, is kind of reframe and give them some things to deal with the stress they have in their life as best they could outside of picking up a vape to do that.
Now, I'm no expert myself, but I'd imagine that, you mentioned how they are using vaping to manage anxiety, but I'd imagine that isn't really doing the trick, right? How does vaping affect mental health, such as anxiety?
Well, actually, it's just like if you've encountered people who are older who talk about smoking, they actually talk about how the smoking, it's actually the deep breathing and the inhalation of that nicotine into their lungs that causes that relaxation effect in their mind. But unbeknownst to them, they are inhaling carcinogens and other things into their lungs that cause damage to their lungs and the tissue in their lungs that eventually they end up having lung disease.
I want to talk a lot more about that and that topic with Director of Ancillary Services, Laura Pauly, in just a moment. She's here with Director of Community Health for Taylorville Memorial Hospital, Darren Butts, here on the WTIM Morning Show. More from them after this short timeout. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
Check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat double-digit lower. December corn, 663.5 down 4.5. March corn down to nickels, 666 1/4. May corn, 664 3/4 down 5 1/4. January beans up 6.5, 1442 3/4. March beans up 5.5, 1447 3/4. May beans 1454 up 4 1/4. December Chicago wheat 755 1/4 down 20 1/4. March wheat down 17 3/4, 779 1/4. December bean meal 412.90 up 410. December bean oil 74.70 up 18 cents. Livestock market, January feeders 177.87, down 42 cents. December live cattle 152.95, down 12 cents. December lean hogs 82.55, down $1.22. Energy market, January crude oil 75.48, down 80 cents. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
With any dream, the wind won't always be at your back, the sun won't always be shining, and some rain is going to fall. American Family Insurance is like a good, solid roof that you can trust to protect your biggest dream. With plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. Also, you can continue to dream fearlessly no matter what comes your way. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Contact me, Daniel Rizzo, agent at Daniel Rizzo Agency, Inc. at 823 West Spresser Street, Suite 1 in Taylorville, or call 217-562-4433 today.
I'm Sarah Van Huss, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Pana and Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud of their longtime sponsorship of Taylorville High School Students of the Month on the many News Talk WTIM platforms on AM, FM, and online.
Hi, I'm Robin O'Duvison, and I'm a freshman at Taylorville High School. My parent is Jamie Ward, and I play volleyball, which is also one of my interests and hobbies. I'm also interested in playing video games and board games with my family and science. My future plans are medical school, and yeah.
People's Bank and Trust congratulates these Taylorville High School Students of the Month and wishes them the best in their continued education. We put people first at People's Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Golden Harvest, our best skill is knowing how to listen. From our Gold Series soybean and game-changing corn portfolios to our expert insights housed in the Illuminate digital agronomy platform, everything we offer is an answer to what we've heard from you. This is how we listen.
Copyright 2021 Syngenta. The trademarks or service marks used herein are the property of a Syngenta Group company. All other trademarks are the property of their respective owners.
Your information station. WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube. Brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. And People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we have Taylorville Memorial Hospital's Director of Community Health, Darren Butts, in studio, along with Director of Ancillary Services, Laura Pauly. And it's great to have you both here. Now, we talked a lot about some of the prevention, the vaping prevention for youth and teens at Taylorville Junior High School that found a lot of success and even won an award for Taylorville Memorial Hospital. Laura, I just wanted to know if there was anything else that you really wanted everyone to know about vaping or smoking in general, just in your take on it, especially for teens and youth.
Originally, the vaping companies pushed out vapes as a method for adults actually to quit smoking. Instead of smoking a cigarette, this was a means for them to stop smoking cigarettes. And yes, indeed, you transition to vapes. The thing with that is they're e-cigarettes, whichever you want to call them. The thing with that is it has just as much nicotine in there as a pack of cigarettes, number one. Number two, there's a lot of carcinogens, just like there is in the cigarette. So substituting an e-cigarette for an actual cigarette for adults is not the way to go. And if you're out there and you think you've quit smoking, but you're vaping, don't fool yourself. You are still really essentially taking in a lot of carcinogens and harming yourself. The other piece of that is if you have a child or a grandchild, they see what you're doing and they're looking to you to guide the way. So if they see that you feel like you're vaping instead of smoking a cigarette, then vaping isn't harmful and they're going to pick that up.
Do you see a difference in some of the dangers between teens and youth vaping and adults vaping? Is there a difference, or is it all pretty much, hey, you're just inhaling carcinogens? It doesn't really matter. You're all kind of exposing yourself to a dangerous choice?
Actually, it's just for the teenagers. It's a bad choice for their health long term. It's kind of almost like a series of bad choices. I'm going to go ahead and vape. See other people that do it. Oh, I vape. So then, well, maybe I'm going to smoke a cigarette. The vaping didn't bother me, or even the whole risky behavior and bad choices. It's kind of earmarked for, why did I need to vape? Did I have that anxiety that's untreated? Or, what do I need to do? It's almost like, and people say this, it's a gateway to other risky behaviors in teens and youth.
Right. And even if it doesn't progress too much, it could be other sorts of nicotine usage, with whether that's smoking actual cigarettes to chewing tobacco to whatever else that might be offered. And as it is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, Darren, you at Taylorville Memorial Hospital offer lung cancer screenings. I wanted to ask you, who do you believe, or maybe we can go to Laura, either way. Let's go to Laura. Laura, who do you believe should receive a lung cancer screening?
Well, actually, if you have ever smoked and are 50 to 77 years old, the age disparity, there's like an age range there. But if you've ever smoked, it's really a good idea to ask your doctor to screen you for lung cancer. Primary reason is just like a mammogram or a colonoscopy, this lung cancer screening tool, it's a CAT scan, and they can find really small issues there with your lungs, small tumors really early, and treat them early so you don't have full-blown disease by the time you seek help.
So 55 to 70, if you've ever smoked, why not some of the younger ages, even into the 40s? I guess why not get checked earlier?
Well, I would suggest that if you have a familial tendency, say, for example, if one of your parents had lung cancer, that it would probably be fine to do so, to request your physician to do so. But this age range, insurance companies currently cover that. So there's a lot of people who, for whatever reason, they don't want to do anything that maybe their insurance isn't going to pay for. But I believe if you've had a parent that has lung cancer, and especially if you smoke, you should also still have a CT for lung cancer screening.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is all part of your adult stop smoking campaign as well. What is that reference to?
So we have a smoking cessation program
that
we offer at Taylorville Memorial to help adults stop smoking. There's lots of tools out there. People, they try to quit on their own, but the really successful program is a group counseling type thing, and usually a medication as well to assist you in stop smoking for good. The average adult attempts to quit smoking 7 times before they're successful. So we want to not make you have to go through that 7 times, but we'd like for you to be successful the first time.
All right. I'm listening to this right now. I'm ready to stop smoking. What's my first step to get involved with that?
Just
program?
call Taylorville Memorial General number, and they will guide you to the right person to help get you in to go through a session with you.
So someone will go through a session with you, and then maybe some group sessions. And
correct.
What else? I mean, let's go into that a little bit more.
So normally we would meet once a week, and you wouldn't stop the first session. It's usually the 5th session that you're going to stop, but we give you the tools to cope, and you got to know your why. You got to know why you currently smoke, to figure out how you're going, what can you substitute for your why, and your reason for smoking. And you have to be ready to quit. That individual person's readiness to quit is key to the program's success.
Darren, anything else you want to add before you head back to your day?
No, just as we wrap up Lung Cancer Awareness Month here in November, we just wanted to do everything we could in the community, radio, social media, TV, newspaper, just to get the word out about the risks and dangers of smoking and lung health. We are currently looking for other schools in Taylorville and Christian County that want to be kind of involved in our efforts. So we'd love to work with some of the other schools to get this program implemented in their schools as well.
Director of Community Health for Taylorville Memorial Hospital, Darren Butts, along with Director of Ancillary Services, Laura Pauly. Thank you both so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF.